You may have seen headlines lately about calorie miscounts on food product labels or inaccurate health claims. How can consumers really know what they're buying? Well, now there's a startup, of course, that's working on fixing these problems. An innovative new food label platform called Sage.
Sage is a new platform to give people a better food label. So it's a digital platform, a website and a mobile app. We like to say we give people the food label that they've always wanted to have, but have never had a chance to because we were kind of stuck with the status quo, which is the label that's on the packaging. So there's a few things that goes into our digital food label. One is more transparency. We give consumers access to all the information that they've always want companies to disclose, but have never really had a chance to see before. So this would be things like, where do the ingredients in the product actually come from? Have food additives been used in the ingredient list? Another thing about our digital food labels is we use great design and data visualization to make it a lot easier for people to make sense of this data. The third part of our label is that everything has been sourced and curated by registered dietitians. So we like to think we're making labels of the future. And we increasingly think that this is how people will access information through their digital devices and through the web. I've always been interested in how data visualization can be used in everyday scenarios that people encounter. So the initial way I kind of wrapped my own head around this is I spent 3 months manually tracking everything that I purchased from a grocery store. I would enter in all their data to see what type of data was out there and what data would end up being important to me. And then I designed a platform around that. As the design team learned, working with nutritionists was fundamental because there's many parts of the platform that we implemented directly based on their feedback that we wouldn't have known about otherwise.
For an added health benefit and to make information easily relatable, Sage also had an exercise component.
Exercise equivalents proved to be a very relatable way for somebody who doesn't know a lot about nutrition to understand the product quickly. There was a good study from Johns Hopkins where they did a bunch of different research of like what would actually change consumer behavior. And the number one was how much do you actually have to exercise to burn off this food. So every product in our system has that as one of the visualizations. We think there's a few reasons why Sage is a good solution for consumers. And the first is that it's digital. It's a mobile app and a website, which is increasingly becoming very native and natural for people to access information through this media. You can get the information when you're in a store in front of a product or when you're on the go. The second thing would be, this is something that consumers have been clamoring for a while, a better food label that has more information and more transparency. The problem with the existing system is to get any changes to the food label requires a huge and very unrealistic agreement between the government, big food lobby, big food companies, and a lot of different actors. But by designers and nutritionists and consumers taking the system into our own hands, we can have a better system available immediately. So here at Sage, we're reinventing the food label, giving people the food label that they've always dreamed of, but haven't really had access to before.
Thanks for checking out this week's innovation video, sponsored by Tetra Pak. Subscribe to the Lempert Report to watch more videos just like this. Also, visit supermarketguru.com. Be sure to go to doingwhatsgood.us to learn more from Tetra Pak.